Try as I may, try as I might, to see the dark in the back of my eyes. There's an army inside my head and a monster under my bed. And on my mind, I don't want to lose it. A heart only breaks when you use it. All the things I don't want to see. The devil, the dealer, and the dark side of me.
Welcome to the Arch City Music Podcast. We are on location, Ben.
Yeah, we're here, Chad. We made it 3.5 hours, buddy. It was well worth the drive.
Drove down from St. Louis today-ish, St. Louis-ish. We are on location at South Main Sounds, right?
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
And we have a special guest with us here. We have Chris Canterbury. Chris, how's it going, man?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, it's y'all drove in. Y'all drove in further than I did. I drove in from Little Rock.
Yeah. So when we were kind of planning this, we actually were considering Little Rock or Memphis. We wasn't sure. You know, it's about the same distance for us,
Yeah,
I
I think so, yeah.
Gotcha.
But man, if I have the opportunity to come to Memphis, I'm coming to Memphis, right? Like that takes precedent over Little Rock.
Right. Little Rock's great. Memphis is Memphis.
Yeah. There's so much history here, and I love coming down here. You know, you go through all these cities and all these towns. Do you get to take in much of it, or is it just venue and hotels? And
It kind of depends. This trip, this tour that we're on, that y'all are catching the last show of, is me and Aaron Enderlin did the Motel Poet series, and we just basically went out on a small room acoustic tour.
yeah.
But we hit we went through Tulsa and Fort Smith and Fort Worth, Galveston. We got to play. But so, yeah, to answer your question, we do, today I walked around the corner. Like, we're literally right around the corner from the Civil Rights Museum.
Lorraine Motel,
right,
yeah.
Lorraine, yeah. I walked down there earlier. And we were in Tulsa. I went to the Woody Guthrie Center, which is really cool. They have the original manuscript for "This Land Is Your Land."
No kidding.
On display. Yeah, it's great.
Oh,
It's a really good. That's a really good thing to go check out, because you see the picture of we all learned "This Land Is Your Land" in school, but
Right.
you see the actual who Woody Guthrie was and what he was, and actually right now they have a Bruce Springsteen exhibit too, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's really neat. So to answer your question, yeah, well, I try to, everywhere I go, I try to at least get out and go find something that's local there, or something that I want to see. I'm a sightseer, so
Yeah. And when we get you up to St. Louis, we'll take you around there too. Yeah, we're from the St. Louis area, and I actually talked to Josh Zanger, All Eyes Media, your publicist, and he was like, you're gonna go down for it? And I said, yeah, man. We love the album so much. We've been spinning it so much, and the album comes out September 23rd. Quaalude Lullabies. You want to tell us a little bit about the record and writing the record?
yeah, it's I didn't really start out to write a record. I had some songs that I'd written. I was like, I'd write a song here and there, and I would have I'd have the idea, or I had a few songs that didn't really fit on a full band record, but also I just really liked the songs. I wanted to put something out, and so then I started. It's early 2020, late 2020. I started putting together songs and wanting a few songs for it, and I decided I wanted to do. I was going to try to pick up a producer and do it. And then I was like, I want to do a kind of a concept record. I'm not saying that the album is going to be like Springsteen's Nebraska, but it's in the same vein of
Right.
I wanted it to sound better than bedroom demo tapes,
Right.
but also just loose, it was kind of put together, because it was put together. I traded off studio time for stuff. I traded off we got my friends to come in and play in the band, and I put together this record, and when I got done, it's there's a bunch of sad songs on here. What am I going to call this thing? And I'd toyed with calling it "The Devil, the Dealer, and Me,"
Yeah.
and because I like that, I was like, oh. It's like, I'm going to call it Quaalude Lullabies because it's a downer.
Yeah. It definitely has an intimate feel to it, and even the instrumentation, or maybe the lack of instrumentation. I think that we were talking about the first 4 songs, there's no drums, right? Where it sounds like it's you and the guitar, maybe something else, a little something else, but like the pacing of it too, and the just the slowness of it, and you just let it breathe so much. And I think that's partly why I fell in love with it, was the intimate nature of it.
That's almost by design for like a few reasons. The songs didn't need it. Like the songs didn't need full production behind them. Some of them did, and some of them didn't. But also, so we had 2 days in the studio. I saved for 2 days in the studio, and I was like, I'm just going to bring the band in the first day, and do the acoustic stuff the second day.
Yeah,
and
knock out what you can,
and then do vocals on the third, and just keep the cost down for what I had. And the idea behind the album was this: make something that tells a story, like even through the lack of instrumentation in certain things, like it's pieced together. Like for example, Devil and Dealer has, for a long time, I've been wanting to do a song that just had a pedal steel or a lap steel and a telecast, or an organ and a Telecaster, like a slide, or a pedal steel and an organ.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to think of a song to do it with, and I ended up, when we first started working with the Devil Dealer and me, I said, it's like, all right, let's try this. Let's try to record this song with just a lap steel and a Wurlitzer organ behind it. And we ended up adding an upright bass to it, but it turned out exactly like I wanted it to.
Mm.
And I feel like it was exactly what the song needed. It was, it's airy, it's loose, it's waltzy. The music and the lack of production tells a story. It tells as much of a story as the lyrics do.
I wrote it on a little bit of a bio. You said it's Saturday morning conversations.
That was the point of like the lyrical makeup of the songs in there. I just wanted it to be like very, very conversational. Like I didn't want to use like a ton of like big words. I didn't use a ton of expensive words. I just wanted to like get the point across.
Or like big metaphors or meaning.
Right. Metaphors are great, but like, man, if you can say, if you can say it directly, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm feeling a certain way.
Exactly.
I know there were several times I was talking with Chad on the way down here, and we listened to it a couple times on the way down. And there were times, some of your lyrics, where I was like, in all the years they've been making music, why hasn't anybody ever come up with that lyric? Because it's just genius.
Oh man.
Some of them I was like, that is so, so cool.
The Devil is like, you have to have a heart to break it, or have to use your heart to break it.
A heart only breaks when you use it.
Yeah.
And that's so I wrote that song with Vinny Paolizzi from Nashville, from one of my really good friends. Lives in the neighborhood, and we wrote the which will be the next single that comes out, like the third single off the album, Sweet Maria. We wrote that song first, and then like the next time we wrote The Devil and Dealer, and he came in to the right with The Devil and Dealer I was like, okay, we're writing a sad song this time. And he's like, okay. He's like, and so we wrote that, and he came in. He's like, I got this line. It's like a heart only breaks when you use it. I'm like, that's the
that's it.
That's like
the basis.
Yeah, that's the basis. We're writing the rest of it around that.
I know, and like even some of the names of the songs, like Heartache for Hire. I'm like, because that's my jam. I love it. I've listened to it 50 times. I'm no lie, and I think it's the most clever song, that's been written in a long time. I love it.
Man, the funny thing about that song is, well, first off, all 3 singles that we're releasing for, like before the record comes out, were all co-written by me and Vinny, and it was like it didn't pick it that way or whatever. It just happened to be the songs that I was like, yeah, let's do this one. These seem to flow well together in a release plan, and they're all mine and Vinny songs. So, but I wrote Heartache for Hire with him and with Vinny and Rob Snyder, who is a songwriter in town. It's like a good friend of mine, been a friend of mine for a long time, and I think probably 6 years ago we had this. There was a Tuesday night writers round in Nashville called Revival, and Rob hosted it, and I helped him with it on Tuesdays for a while. And I walked up to him one night, and I'm like, "Hey man, so what about a song called Heartache for Hire?" And he's like, "Put that one in your pocket." And like we never got a chance. Like we we would book rights and one of us would have to cancel, or like one of us would be sick, or like we would write with someone else and it was like they didn't want to write it or whatever. And so finally I nailed him down and Vinny down like one day and I was like, hey, we're writing this song. And that's what came out. It's like, I wanted something that was like swampy and a little bit groovy for the beat, but I was like, it needs to be, hey, look, this is what it is. Like, this lyrics need to be taken for face value. It's like, this is somebody that's telling you like, I'm going to break your heart.
And that's your newest video too, right?
It is.
So if you're listening to this, you want to go check out the singles that have been released so far. We've been lucky enough to get an advanced copy of the rest of the record. Can I talk about my favorite on the record?
Sure.
Felt the Same.
Man, that actually might be my favorite song on the record too. And maybe just strictly for the reason that it took me, like, I think 10 years to write.
Dang, that long, huh?
I started it with a good friend of mine in Louisiana before I moved to Nashville. So it's been almost over 10 years old. Wade Reeves, and he kind of had a few lines. And I'm like, man, let's work on that. And so we never really could get anything. We wrote the first verse and the second verse. Then we had a much longer chorus than what is in it now. Now 8 years later, I was driving back from South Alabama. I think I was driving back from the Floribama, from the Frank Brown Songwriter Festival. It's like 3:00 in the morning. I think I was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, under an overpass, and it hit me right then, the last verse of the thing. And then as I was driving about 30 minutes home, I rewrote the chorus to shorten it up because we were using a different hook, and then the I Wish Like Hell, I still felt the same, was just in the middle of the thing. I was like, that's the hook. That's the hook of the song. Yeah. I cut the rest of it off and recorded it. And I played it for a bunch of people, and everybody loved it. And I'm like, I was super happy about that song. It's probably my favorite song on the record.
So I love songs like that, but I also love road songs. As a fan, we think of the road. We see you on stage and everybody's yelling your name and it's all glitz and glamour, but it's like the drive from here to here and the loneliness and the desperation. So like Felt the Same. You feel that in the song so much that it's not as glamorized as maybe it seems sometimes.
I tell people sometimes from the stage, like that's when I introduced the song. I was like, the song's about being on the road, but it's more about the windshield time. It's like,
yeah.
it's a lot of windshield time. It's a lot of time. This song's about the time you don't get paid for.
Yeah, I love the despair and like the despondency in the song. Can I ask you about a specific lyric in the song?
Yeah. So
this one's interesting to me, and since we knew that we had this interview scheduled, I wanted to ask you about this. There's a part early on in the song where you say that you say with confidence, it seems like, when we come back through, I'm going to pack this place. But a lot of the song is, I wish I felt the same, that all these people that have hope in me, or a lot of people have optimism about my career, my future, I don't feel that way. At least that's what I got from it. So that line in particular really stands out to me.
That was actually a line that Wade came into the song with, but I kept it in because it's like, I think it shows that line juxtaposed against the folks around here can't read.
Yeah.
It really shows the arrogance of someone who's, I booked this show 14 hours away from home. Nobody knows who I am. Like, why the hell did I think anybody was going to show up?
They got my name wrong on the marquee.
Like, like, why? Yeah, right. It's why would I think that nobody, like, why, like, the ego of someone who's out on the road like that is like, I mean, there's people who are, I'm guilty of it sometimes too. It's like I deserve way more than this, but like, do you? Like what'd you do to put people in the seats here? But the song, like the lyric is like, is just the arrogance of this like lonely songwriter or singer songwriter who's out on the road, and it's like, all right, I'm going to do this next time, and you don't.
Yeah, yeah, that's why it stuck out to me, because it seems like the one sort of statement in the song that is sort of optimistic or hopeful, I guess. So yeah, I love that song a lot. You mentioned Nashville. Originally from Louisiana, born, bred, all that, but moved to Nashville now. Do you ever play the Bluebird there? You ever get a chance to play the Bluebird?
I've only played I played the Bluebird one time. It was a great time. I don't play a lot in town. I will play some writers rounds here and there. Some friends will ask me to come out and play, and I'll do those. And every once in a while, I'll put together a writers round. and play. But I have played the Bluebird one time, and I feel like that was my grandma's her moment of that he's made it. When it's like he's famous now. He played the Bluebird.
Yeah.
It's either that or he's like she used to ask me if you played the Bluebird, or she'd ask me if I'd seen Kenny Rogers. So
got one off the list, Grandma.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you joining us here today on the Arch City Music Podcast. We're on location. We're looking forward to the show tonight. Just sat in on your sound check, I guess. It was about 3 minutes. It was like the quickest sound check ever. But, man, it sounded good, and we're excited for the show tonight. If you're listening to this on September 29th, you're going to go out and get that Quaalude Lullaby. It's going to be available 23rd? 29th?
You can listen to it on the 29th also.
September 23rd, and you're going to get it again on the 29th. It's going to be available all platforms, right?
Yeah, it will be.
Are you doing CD, any physical copies, vinyls, anything like that?
Yeah, actually, we're doing CDs and vinyl. I'm not sure. I'm driving back to Nashville tonight after the gig, and getting up in the morning and going to pick up my test pressings from the plant. I'll know then when I'll get the vinyl. I'm hoping, like, fingers crossed that it'll be out. It'll be out when the release is. If not, it'll be out not soon. The vinyl will be out not soon after that.
So is that like Christmas for you? Like you're getting ready to go pick up physical copies of something that's been in the works for, you're saying Felt the Same was 10 years old at this point.
Man, you know what? Honestly, I've never really thought about it like that, but that's a really good way of looking at it. It's like, yeah, it's something really special, like the album, and it's something that when an artist releases an album, I know when I do, it's a very emotional thing because it's something that's super personal. You're like, okay, now go do your thing. Like,
yeah.
Like, my last record, Refinery Town, it came out 5 years ago, and I released, I spent a lot of money recording the record and having it mixed and everything, and I didn't have a budget for PR or any kind of marketing afterwards. So it just kind of it's done on its own what it's done, and I'm grateful for it. But this one, I was like, I waited before I put it out. Like, it sat in the can for over a year, right at a year and a half before it was we started pushing it. And I was like, I just wanted to wait. I wanted to wait on it and get the right people behind it, get the right team. And I've got a great team. Yeah, it's kind of like Christmas. It's like it's like I'm going to picking up the vinyl, and I guess picking up the vinyl is kind of like Christmas, and then letting it go is like sending a kid off to college.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, make me some money.
Kind of, yeah. You always kind of hear artists talk about that once it's actually released, it's no longer yours, right? It's everybody else's, and kind of where it goes from there is up to it and the people that are listening to it.
Yeah, man. There's a really, like what you just said, there's a really good quote from a singer-songwriter in Nashville that's like I've been listening to for ages. His name's Brian Wright. He's got a song, it's called Central Park, and there's a line in it that says, like, art's only yours until the second you create it. And it's like, that's 100% true. Like, once it's out, like, it belongs to everybody, and it's whatever it's supposed to do, it's going to do. And so,
are you ever shocked by what sometimes hits and what sometimes doesn't?
Yeah, sometimes it's fairly. I feel like most of my stuff is in enough of a similar vein that it's you either like it or you don't. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I haven't found too many people that just hate me.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good thing, right? Yeah. Life goal achieved.
Right. I mean, I've had like some old men at bars tell me I need to do things different, and they'll just keep saying it. All
right, buddy.
I'll get the point, and they'll keep going.
Well, we'll pack this place next time.
Yeah.
I think what you do so well, at least what it seems like, is walking that fine line between storyteller, and it seems like some of the stuff that you write about is very personal.
If I may be so bold to say that I feel like there's something that I do really well, and that's take personal issues and then take them out of my personality and put them in a story.
Oh, cool.
And it's 100% a defense. Yeah, it's a coping mechanism, a defense mechanism, what it is. But I really enjoy doing that because it's a release, but it's also lets me hide behind either a fictional story or something that happened to somebody else that I just changed to first person, or something that happened to me that I changed to third person. That's one thing that I lean on mostly. Like, I'll tell people I'm not a melody guy. Like, I write pretty simple melodies. I don't play, like, I'm not a guitar wizard, not a virtuoso, but I usually can carve a phrase around to make it fit to some, to an idea. and that's what I try to do. And that's my goal is for somebody to listen to a record and I want them to feel like, oh man, he's going through some stuff. It was like, here, he's going through the same thing I am. Like that song was written for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
I have to ask you about. We've seen one of your interviews or heard one of your interviews. You're talking about you don't have a lot of regrets, but one regret you do have is learning on a left-handed guitar. Are you actually left-handed?
I am.
Can you clarify?
Yeah. I am 100% left-handed.
So you wish you would have learned just how to play right-handed?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let me tell you, man, it's so hard to find good left-handed guitars that aren't super expensive. Well, I usually tell people I got 2 regrets in life: that I ever started smoking cigarettes and that I learned guitar left-handed. And I'm not sure which one I regret the most.
So I play a little guitar, just the basic chords or whatever. I didn't realize there was such a difference between right-handed and left-handed, but I guess they're so scarce. Or
well, the problem, there's usually not that big of a difference in the price. Most companies, if you buy a new guitar, the lefty model is going to be around the same price.
Okay.
Or maybe it might be a touch, $200 or $300 more. But the problem is when you look into like vintage guitars, back when they forced people to be right-handed, the left-handed guitars were either custom made or they were like one-offs, like custom shops, and they're super rare. Like I've come across maybe 5 or 6 in the last 10 years that I would like be willing to purchase if I had like an extra kidney to sell.
Yeah.
Well, the ones that I would take on stage and play with me, they're few and far between. They're hard to find.
So it's less about the money and more some of that stuff, and maybe even the convenience of having a.
It's definitely availability.
Yeah,
is what it is. There's actually the guitar that I play now is a 2010 Gibson Southern Jumbo reissue. It's a true vintage, so it's a Banner headstock. And when I bought it I actually bought it at a left-handed guitar store in Houston, Texas.
Uh-huh.
It's called Southpaws, and
Southpaws.
Yeah,
I get what they did there. It's
you see what they did there, Chad.
It's like Ned Flanders or something. Didn't he have a store like that?
I went to, so I bought it. I actually think I bought it in 2012. So it's 10 years old, and I went in there when me and Aaron we've been on the road, and we stopped in Houston. We stopped by the store, and I went in there, and if they have something that I can afford today, I'm going to buy it just because it's like, we're here. And they didn't, unfortunately.
Talk about an untapped market.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Left-handed.
Well, and I also heard you said the upside was when you're playing a gig, you don't have to worry about somebody getting up and playing your guitar.
That is definitely the upside of it.
Yeah.
There's like, I think 3 of my friends play left-handed that I know. And if I see one of them out, that we both like, he has nice guitars. And I wrote a song with a few years ago. I wrote a song with Jeffrey Steele, and he's left-handed. He's like famous songwriter or whatever. And he has a ton of like really nice vintage left-handed guitars. So like it was fun writing a song with him. But it was the most fun I had was like playing all of his like expensive guitars that I have never been able to play.
That's funny. What are we looking at in the future? I mean, we got this record coming out September 23rd, Quaalude Lullabies. What about after that? Are we going to do some more touring?
I'm going to tour on the record. I've got like some one-off shows here and there, but I got a little run through North Carolina, South Carolina,
Missouri,
St. Louis,
Missouri.
I need to get up there to Missouri.
Have you played Missouri or St. Louis?
I have not. I have not played. I kind of run around y'all and go up through Illinois a good bit, but
okay.
I need to make my way.
We'll get you up there.
Yeah,
I'm a Route 66 fanatic too, so
yeah.
I need to come back through. The few times I've been through St. Louis has been like when I've been like would go up and drive through the.
So my wife and I have three daughters. So early in the summer, our intent was to hop on 66 where we're at and drive it all the way out to the Grand Canyon. Now, we didn't make it that far. And you're talking about Tulsa. We actually stopped in Tulsa, and we had a really nice time. I mean, people ask, what'd you do on vacation or where'd you go? And I tell them Tulsa, and they're like, what?
Why? No.
We had a really good time, but that was sort of our plan, is to eventually drive the whole thing. But they're younger, so that, we don't last that long in a car. But
yeah, right. That old like that old Americana, like roadside attraction stuff that's 100% my jam.
Yeah.
And honestly, like when I write songs, a lot of times I write songs, like I try to write like little mini movies in my head, or these like especially story songs. Like I'll visualize what they are, and I always tend to set them in like dusty like 1965
Yeah.
settings, like those old motels off 66 and stuff like that.
Neon signs are kind of,
Right.
flickering or whatever, and the old gas stations and everything.
Diners that you could still smoke cigarettes in. Those kind of places.
The old folks won't let it go.
Right.
Well, we're down here in Memphis. We are at South Main Sounds in Memphis, Tennessee. Love this place. So cool upstairs. This is our first time being here. Have you been here before?
This is my first time here. Also, this place is awesome.
Super
we're
cool.
Literally in a basement.
Yeah.
It's like this underneath Main Street.
Yeah, I guess this is the green room or whatever they call it, backstage area, and we appreciate their hospitality here. We can't wait to see you tonight. If you're listening to this, you're going to go out September 23rd, and you're going to pick up the record Quaalude Lullabies by Chris Canterbury. Chris, we appreciate your time today, man.
I really appreciate y'all coming in. It's been a pleasure being here.
All right, man. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Chris.
If you ever tired of sleeping, I'm the ghost beneath your bed. If you're looking for conversation, I'm the voices in your head. I'm a healer and a dealer, somewhere between here and hell. Step out in the line of fire, I'm a heartache for hire. I can be the reason your heart shatters on the floor. Call me when you're hurting and you need to hurt some more. I'll cut you like a cold wind if you need someone to blame. Step out in the line of fire, I'm a heartache for hire. If you're sick of being happy and you're jonesing for a change, I can be the misery out here standing in the rain. Step out in the line of fire, step out in the line of fire, I'm a heartache for hire.